Hey, finally, we're here. We had a little glitch, and so it's the only one tonight. For some reason, the output was not working well, so I had to re-authenticate on the YouTube channel with the software. Hopefully now it's going to be okay. So welcome everybody. And hopefully everything's okay. Just checking out here because I have weird numbers coming out of the I'm just looking at the number of megabytes per second coming out of the stream. Yes, Mr. Cat, hello. Hello, Mr. Cat. Okay, seems okay. Seems stabilized and okay, so we'll start with this. Hey, everybody. Welcome aboard. This is the Shortwave Show, Saturday edition. We're here every 2 weeks on Saturdays, so this is the Saturday edition today. And Paul the Cat probably wanted to be there because he just arrived from outside. So hey everyone, welcome aboard, and I hope that you will have fun tonight. Tonight, some tips and tricks for tuning around, answering questions, just playing fun, tuning around the bands, and was just listening to WWV on 15 megahertz coming in right now. So hi, welcome aboard everyone, and of course this is a show about radio. My name is Gilles. I'm located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And it's just one of those shows where anything goes and we just have a lot of fun. And I'm on flavored water right now because I kind of went overboard on beer last night. After the show ended, I cooked some food and continued drinking beer. And of course the beer that I've got is like, you know, half of it, of the 12 pack is like 9 or 8% beer. So I drank 5 of them, and so I am a little bit just, you know, not hungover, but I'm just like, I woke up and I was like, oh man, okay, I went a little too much yesterday. So I'm going to start off with flavored water, and then we will have a beer afterwards, just to, you know, hydrate myself and be okay. So, hey everyone, welcome aboard. Nice chat room. If you guys have a Gmail account, that's all that's needed. You can actually get into the beautiful chat room with tons of nice people, great people, and it's a lot of fun to be here. Ask away, ask your questions. We're here for that. We're here to entertain and you know, learn at the same time. It's not because you've been a listener or a amateur radio operator for 50 years that, you know, we learn every day. We learn new stuff every day. So hey everybody, welcome aboard. Bobby Burgess, CQ from WA 5107 SWL in Louisiana. Come on, Mr. Cat. Mr. Cat wants to say hi, so let's put Mr. Cat in the limelight a little bit. And Jack N9IIF, and by the way, thank you for your donation, my friend. MDK2, nice to have you here. We have Fastload, hey, from the gazebo in your backyard. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. It's a little cool, but it's a perfect day for that, honestly. What do we have? We have David Williamson, ZS1ADG from South Africa. Nice to have you on board as usual, my friend, from South Africa. Pretty cool. Emergency action message on 11. Let's see if it's still there. Probably gone, but hey, we'll keep it there a little bit while I'm talking, in case we hear some other EAMs. JD Williamson, nice to have you here. Nicolas Hughes, nice to hear. UVB 76 coming in crisp as ever. So some geomagnetic storming occurred earlier. So yeah, it's possible we're getting into a little period of disturbance due to a coronal hole. Calvin, nice to have you here. Dexfar74, nice to have you on board. We have Zach Antle, nice to have you here. As usual, it's always cool to have all of you on board. What do we have? Let me go down slowly here, a little far. XNA DXer, hey Keegan, nice to have you on board. Mid-70s, wow, that's pretty cool. Good temperatures for radio listening outside, taking it easy. Mad Radio DXer, hey there. TV Tech, hello there. Emil Jensen, nice to have you here. Jarl Lettinen, nice to have you on board. And what do we have? We have PA1SBM. Hey there, Alex. 2 beers, 1 water, 2 beers. Yeah, that's probably what I should have done yesterday. I just went through. I went to bed. I opened up. My last beer was 1 a.m. Went to bed at 1:30, and I was listening to the shortwave bands all evening. Intermittent, because I listened to the shortwave bands. Then I went to watch a movie on Netflix. Then I was watching the astronomy show, a little bit of the end of the astronomy show by Cosmic Lettuce on YouTube, and then came back and listened to shortwave for the rest of the evening. And just drank away last night. It was like, okay, I'm just having fun. Ray Kelly, nice to have you here from Nova Scotia, Canada. And there's a cat in the chat. Jerry DX, nice to have you here. Hey, Cosmic Lettuce, cheers. Nice to have you here. Sorry for being late yesterday. And, you got to thank Bobby Burgess. He's always the one that's saying, hey, Cosmic Lettuce coming on. Because I kind of, for some reason, never remember. And basically, he reminds me. And yesterday was like, oh yeah, he's live now. So, and Cosmic Lettuce has a very, very nice astronomy live show every night. It's very, very nice, and the guy really knows what he's talking about. I can tell you that. John Timken, nice to have you on board from Lincolnshire, UK. Pretty cool. I was checking out around midnight last night. There was some activity on 27555, that out of band calling frequency, and I kind of started tuning around that range and went to the 10-meter band to see, but lasted maybe 20 minutes, and finally the signals were gone around midnight 30 or something local time here. Sheldon Harvey, nice to have you here. Still working on the Macy IDX Messenger, almost done, so we'll have that in the next few hours to few days. Always nice to have that in the email. Pretty cool. Jerry Lettinen, bonsoir, welcome. Nice to have you here. And yes, what else do we have? Yeah, it's always fun. And of course, there's the show tomorrow, the International Radio Report tomorrow at 14:30 UT. And basically, I will be there tomorrow, part of the gang with Sheldon and David. So it's going to be fun to be there tomorrow morning. One more reason to drink, flavored water rather than beer, so that I don't, get to see KUT as a hungover guy. David Williamson says, encourage Mr. Paul to become involved in a ham mascot. Yeah, that could actually be, the radio mascot, Paul the Cat. And you're actually, you know what? I'm just going to do one thing, because I did see that he was looking at his chair, And yesterday when I took on my QSL card collection, I slowly was looking. I mean, I was nostalgic. Maybe that's why I drank last night, actually. I was nostalgic. I started looking and going through all the QSL cards from the 80s and the 90s, with all of these stations gone. And I think that maybe that helped me drink a little more last night. I became nostalgic thinking of all the stations from the past, you know. Man. So I'm not involved in astronomy as much. I used to have a telescope, David Williamson, and I had a 6-inch reflector, and I did a lot of sky watching when I was in my teenage years. My dad had a place up north at La Conception, which is roughly 100 some miles north of Montreal, and it was a very dark sky, one of the darkest skies I've ever seen. So it was very, very, very nice. Then when I got into college and everything, and you know, your interests change, and then you meet people and all sorts of things. So it's like everything gets messed up somehow. You don't have as much time to do certain things. So I'm not as involved. I still am interested. I mean, I like watching the sky. I always have a pair of binoculars ready to just like watch little things. You know, it's surprising what just a pair of binoculars can bring out from the sky. And I love watching and seeing the different planets. Like, you know, Venus is in the west of our in our sky lately. Very, very bright Venus, which is always amazing. And that half of the people always think, oh, that's a plane. No, it's not a plane. It's a planet. It's Venus. Jupiter getting higher up and earlier in the east, southeast at night also. And you know, I do read a lot of articles about what's happening on space.com and different websites like that keep my interest sparked. For a long time I subscribed to Sky and Telescope, which I've always found a very, very good magazine. And maybe I should subscribe again to their electronic edition. So you know, it's there's an interest in there for sure. And the cosmic lettuce it's interesting because it joins part of my interest in the astronomy field, absolutely. And you know, it's kind of a fun it's a fun show. The guy knows what he's talking about. Very technical at times, but very interesting. And if you find it too technical, you just, you know, drop a little line in the chat, say, hey, can you explain in plain English what exactly you mean by whatever, and you will explain it. And very, very, very nice. Anybody else getting error on the video? My video feed here is green everywhere, so I shouldn't have any problems usually. John Timkin says lots of sporadic E on 10 meters last 2 days. Yeah, and I think it goes a lot with the weather. Hey Steve, nice to have you on board from Australia. Really nice to have you on board. PLF Radio, hello there from France. Nice to have you here. Is it the correct time for you to do a show or videos outside? Yeah, it would be a perfect time to do a video outside, yes. But it's still, I chose to do it inside because it's a little windy and a little, just on the cool side a little bit. And, you know, it's, the K2 says, come on, be drunk. Your show could be the radio compliment to drunken history. Oh, man. What's the frequency of the PIP? It's in the 80 meter band somewhere. I don't remember the exact frequency now. Bill, K3WDR, nice to have you on board. Simon Smith, hello there. Nice to have you here. Having a beer, watching the stream from the south of the UK. That's cool. That's really, really cool. Anybody I've missed, say hello, please. Always very nice to have all of you here. And what else is there? It's a mix of everything here at Cosmic Lettuce. Actually, we have this is like the stream where we go everywhere. I think it was what, last week, 2 weeks ago, I think at one point, I think it was the music show. We were just talking about bands and music. So you know, it's whatever. We try to concentrate on the radio side as much, but you know, we're human. We like to talk about different things, and you know, it's always fun to just go wherever the flow is going, for sure. Bobby Burgess, still learning how to use SDR console. Yes, absolutely, and I don't know. I don't like it. I still don't like it. So I'm always going back at HDSDR. And there's also another reason why I go back to HDSDR is because when I use SDR console, the only way that it really works well is if I plug in the Ethernet cable. And I have only one in the office, so I have to choose plugging the Ethernet cable for the stream or plugging the Ethernet cable on the laptop for SDR console to have a better, for it to work better. And of course, I rather use it for the stream because it gives out much more of a stable video. So pretty. It's and you know, I like for now. I still like HDSDR better, really a lot better. Maybe I'm missing out on something, or I don't know. But you know, I haven't abandoned, because anyways, what is interesting is that SDR console V3 that I'm using doesn't work on my Windows 7 desktop. It doesn't find, and it can't find my F3 SDR. Yet on the laptop, Windows 10 laptop, which is an insider machine, it works great. But the reverse is also true. My HDSDR works great on Windows 7, but is horrible on Windows 10. So I kind of am stuck with SDR console in the Windows 10 machine, and I'm stuck with HDSDR on the Windows 7 machine, which is kind of interesting. It's kind of weird, you know. So it's pretty interesting. Yeah, you know that Jerry DX first of all says could see Jupiter with naked eye the other day, and you know, remember that when you see Jupiter up in the sky, that Jupiter emits these radio bursts, and apparently I saw on I think it was Space Weather, they were showing how there was really a radio storm on Jupiter a couple of weeks ago, and there was a lot of noise generated by Jupiter, and you can hear that around 21, 22 megahertz in the shortwave spectrum. So remember that when you see Jupiter high up in the sky, you always need to, you know, you take a listen. If you hear some crackling or some, you know, kind of a whoosh sound that sounds like ocean waves or stuff like that, you might actually be receiving Jupiter's radio emissions. And if you hear somebody talking and saying, "Hello, I'm from Jupiter," well, you'll be in the news tomorrow. But anyways, it's you know, it's something to check for. And PLF Radio says the sun is involved in shortwave propagation, so it's astronomy too. And absolutely, there's a mix of all of that. There's the geophysics, with, you know, the geomagnetic field and the storming that goes with it and everything around Earth. There's the solar terrestrial effects of the sun itself. You know, it emits a lot of energy. The sun is part of the reason why the ionosphere is actually existing. It ionizes the upper atmosphere of the Earth, and it creates this, you know, little range of frequencies that bounce off it for shortwave propagation. And you gotta remember that. You gotta remember that. So, you know, it's really, really, really nice. And you know, there's always that little astronomy thing from time to time that happens, and that's curious. I remember a couple of years ago there was this, I don't remember which was the comet that does that. There's a comet that sometimes bursts, like explodes, and it creates a huge dust cloud or you know, gas cloud around it. And I remember seeing that in the sky for even in Montreal for, you know, a few weeks before it faded away slowly. There's all sorts of things that you can see, and it's very surprising. You know, city environment for astronomy is always a complex thing, but even in a big city like Montreal, there's little things that you can still look at and check out. But of course, for those of you that have the chance of living in an environment where the sky is really dark, it's just beautiful. And you know, I'm always amazed that on honestly on when you get into a dark, really dark area where the sky is full of stars. Isn't that a Coldplay song? It's kind of full of stars. You feel small suddenly. You have the impression that suddenly there's this huge universe in front of you, and you're just that tiny little thing that actually controls nothing. You know, it's crazy. PLF Radio, the PIP 3756, yeah, and 5448 according to Wikipedia. I know 3756, that I remember. I don't remember the 5448 though. David Williamson says, a lot of work to do a show outside. You will have to drag the station outside and set up. Well, doing a show outside here on the balcony and stuff like that is not too bad. What I would really love to do, and actually, that's what I was thinking with my new Galaxy S9 phone, plus the battery pack that I have, I will do a show officially from Perry Island coming up in the next few weeks, you know, end of May or sometime in June. I will have one. I will have one from Perry Island, the expedition. We will have radio listening from there. I'll stream it from my phone, and which is nice because we'll also be testing out. I'll test out a little something. I can stream out with the phone in 4K. So if any of you have the capability to watch 4K YouTube, out of curiosity, I might be trying that out. And it's going to take a lot of data, but you know, I'll manage to keep my my data cap with as much data available. I think it could be a lot of fun. But anyways, whatever I do, I think it's going to be a lot of fun to stream from my phone directly. Plugged into the battery pack, we'll typically have, you know, hours of stream possibility, so it's not going to be a problem. The biggest problem why in the past years I was not streaming from Perry Island were mostly because of the technical side. My laptop's battery won't last more than an hour streaming, even when in brand new. It takes so much power of the laptop. It is a 5-year-old laptop, and you know, the 5-year-old laptop uses more power than today's laptops. But Perry Island, there will be definite, not just Perry Island, different places around Montreal. I plan to do try to do maybe a monthly stream from outside somewhere, listening to the radio, and looking weird because people are gonna just look at me, and it's like, I'm waiting for a stand, by the way, because I purchased actually not the stand, but I purchased the device that I need to actually put my camera, my Galaxy S9 phone, and put it on one of my stands, my camera stands that I have here. I actually will buy another camera stand to have that always permanently installed. So I'll just have to, you know, clip the phone in the stand, and it's going to be like a good camera. And I want to do that also because I started, you know, I for years I've been using, I'm just going to show you a little something for videos. So on the shortwave side, when I do videos, honestly, for a long time, for a very long time, I've been using, you know, when I started doing YouTube videos on the shortwave channel, for a long time, I purchased this Sony Handycam, which has been amazingly good, and is great, has a beautiful picture. It's very nice, and you know, it's just great. But as time went by, and you know, this shoots in 1080p, and that was the minimum requirement, because you know, I don't know about you guys, but when I go on YouTube and watch other people's radio videos, when they are like this size on my big screen, or when they are just that little square and you got the black bars because they're not in HD. I have to say I often don't watch very long because it kind of annoys me when I see videos that don't fit my screen. And you know, cameras for HD are so inexpensive today that I kind of, you know, if you're serious about doing YouTube videos, come on, minimum of HD, at least 720p, you know, minimum, because it looks much better. So this I purchased for that purpose, 1080p videos on my channel. But my phone, and you know, even the Galaxy S7 phone, actually do amazing videos, very high quality videos with their cameras. And actually, this one, my S7, does really beautiful videos in 1080p. And plus, the sound quality when I just use the microphone is actually better than my Sony Handycam. It seems to be more, there's more richness in the frequencies, the audio frequencies. So for, you know, when I actually do a video where I'm gonna shoot a radio that's playing a shortwave station, well, actually, it sounds better on this than it sounds on my Handycam. The great example, this Grundig has really amazing sound. And I've noticed that you hear it much more, that it has an amazing sound when I actually take my when I took my S7 to actually make the video than on my Sony Handycam, which sounds more like a tin can. It doesn't have the bass response. And I did one video with this to test out, and this is also very good. So my S9 will become, and you know, I've been thinking of also keeping my S7 for one big purpose. You know, I can pop in a 128 or 256 gigabyte SD card in the phone, which is very nice. And this can become actually my full-time camera also. I was thinking seriously of, okay, that could be a good use for this older S7. Not use it as a phone anymore, but make videos with it and post them online from the phone would be pretty good. That's also the other thing, is that, you know, when you actually do a video with this, then you got to transfer it on your PC, then you got to put it online. Doing it with the phone is amazing because you do it with the phone and you just use the YouTube app and shove it online on your account to when you do the videos. So I am really moving towards taking the different videos with my phone rather than using you know, a dedicated camera. These phones are just so great now in the video quality that you don't even need a camera. You don't need, you know, you can use them as devices to stream and do whatever you want. So it's pretty cool for that. And I think I'm moving towards that side now while doing videos, honestly. So, what else do we have? What else do we have? Let's go down slowly. No problem, Bobby. No problem, Bobby. If you have to go, you have to go. So, what else do we have? Oh, some EM message. 11175. 13200 is better. 13200. Coming in really well.
India, 6, standby. Victor, 3, Delta, Victor, India, 6, standby. Victor, 3, Delta, Victor, India.
So this is U.S. Air Force emergency action messages. Vianney Arsenault, bienvenue de la Gaspésie. Nice to have you here. Josh Evangelo from Chesapeake, Virginia. Steve, R5000 and RSP2. That's pretty good. Yeah, the PIP is kind of some kind of a number station from Russia. MDK2, Radio Monensi on 15240. Nice African music, but what's up with their modulation? Yeah, they do have some problems sometimes. It's via WHRI. and it's very weak right now for me. It's via WHRI, I believe, and sometimes it's not always good. It's either over modulated or sometimes under modulated. Francis Herrera, good to be back after a few months. By the way, what kind of antenna you use? I'm maxing out my old school wire antenna. I have a 22 meter long sloper, which is a kind of a long wire, but it has an angle, so it starts on the corner roof of a third-story building here, and goes down to the east side of the backyard. At the other end, on the east side, it's about 8 feet, roughly 8 feet, 8 or 9 feet off the ground, and so east-west orientation, sloper, 22 meter long wire. So it's a little, you know, it's a little noisy, but you know, it still can do some interesting things, you know. So PLF, yes, I did a few shows from the outside on the balcony, and there's going to be more this year. When it's very beautiful, I like to do them from outside. It's actually nice to do the shows from outside. I've always enjoyed that, and it always is fun to do that. Scott Collier, nice to have you here from Missouri. Daniel Walsh, hey there, nice to have you on board from New York City. Pretty cool. So laptops, no, not at all. Laptops are actually still the thing I like to have. I'm in the market to buy a new one, and there's a chance that I might actually buy a gaming laptop to have the power needed. And my requirement for a laptop is not only does it have to be powerful, but my requirement is that it has its own dedicated graphics adapter with its own memory. I don't want to have those you know, Intel integrated crap. I want to have something that has a dedicated graphics adapter, because I don't game often, but I game sometimes on my laptop, and so at least I can do a little bit of gaming with that. What else do we have? JD Williamson says still use 1080 at our local radios, TV stations. Yeah, it's, you know, 1080 is okay, honestly. It's really yes. That African station on 15240 is rebroadcast from WHRI station in the United States. It's a relay. It's not officially from Africa, so it kind of, you know, it's kind of cool to listen to it, but at the same time it's kind of, well, you know, it's not a DX per se, because it's close to us, you know, it's from the United States. So you know, it's kind of interesting. What else do we have? I activated Siri. I can do worse than that. I can pronounce the A word, or the G word, or the S word to activate the different. And let's do it all again, all of the assistants together. So PLF Radio says, I see lots of videos on YouTube made with smartphones where people forget to put their phone in landscape format. That is also the big, you know, if I have to rant at people taking videos with their smartphone, can you please put your smartphone in landscape mode when you do your videos? You know, just you know, when you do a video, don't hold your phone like this. Okay? Do a video like this. It's much better, okay? That also annoys me as hell, you know, when I see somebody like, oh look, this is a video of my cat, and you're like, oh wow, it's so fun to see that little strip of video on the TV, you know, you could have, and have the cat in the full screen. People just don't, you know. And it's funny because when people post videos on my Facebook feed, or I see videos of other people on my Facebook feed when I see one that's taken, you know, with their phones, that regular, not in landscape, I always say, put your phone in landscape next time. Video's gonna be better. But you know. So, I'm not surprised at all that North Korea is still very, very far behind everybody else. DK2 says 8992 was the strongest for the EAM. What else? Mickey Dalmash, nice to have you here. Pretty cool to have you on board. And oh man, I look at that. They're still all here. I started really, and let me just put the camera, the phones here. I still have them out. I was still looking at my my QSLs yesterday, and I'm slowly putting them back into the my QSL book, and I've got 3 of those QSL books also. I can tell you that it brought me back. You know, I think that's why I was. That's why I was actually very, I think I drank too much beer last night. I became nostalgic with watching all my QSL collection. Oh, Fastload, you know what? I didn't think about that, but that is an excellent. Maybe you could set up, we could do it from your gazebo, and maybe you could set up that, FRG7, that we could have the FRG7, we can have, that would be great. Oh, yeah. We are going to do that, Fastload. Absolutely. What a good idea. I don't know why I didn't think about it. And that is a great idea. We are going to actually arrange something when on maybe a Saturday show where we know it's going to be a beautiful day. We're going to do something, and you'll be able to show off your handheld Whistler scanner and everything. That's going to be great. Yes. Absolutely. That is a great idea, Fazla. So, yeah, I've got some really nice QSLs, Mickey. Absolutely. Pretty crazy. Alexander Marks, nice to have you here. Do I see it correctly that you use Windows on your SDR PC? And any experience with SDR under Linux? I have not, because I have a mixed bag of things here, okay? So, I have Windows 7 here. But I also have, that's a desktop that's in the back of that TV. But underneath here, I got a laptop that runs a insider preview of Windows 10. That runs SDR console for SDR. I stream with my Windows 10 laptop, which is my main laptop. Here, the chat right now is on a 17-inch laptop, Toshiba laptop, that has right now Ubuntu 18.05 long-term support. That is the crappiest version of Linux I've seen, and it's soon to be out of my machine, and well, I'm going to go back to something else. I really, it keeps freezing and having all sorts of annoying problems. If you're on Linux, don't use Ubuntu 18.04. It's a piece of crap. Totally. Now, answering the question of SDR under Linux, I've never tried running my SDR under Linux. I once tried that. There's that distro of Linux that is kind of made for radio that you can install on your laptop, and it has all of the radio-oriented and SDR stuff. I've never been able to have the software work. But the problem is my knowledge of Linux is rather limited. So that's probably part of the problem here. You know, I always say when you have a software-defined radio, if you want to try that, you always need, you need a minimum technical skills to know how to run a software-defined receiver, which for some people is a big problem. And maybe that's where I'm facing the problem in Linux, for example. I need to, I'd like to try and have my Fedry SDR on Linux. I'd love to try that out for sure. But until now, I've not really been very good at having anything work with the SDR on the Linux side. And I've never tried on Mac because I've got a MacBook, but it's an old one, so the only version of the latest version I can get on that is 10.7 Lion, and you know what? It's like it's there. I see it there. I have a MacBook there that is totally unused, and I was thinking actually of turning it into a Windows 7 laptop. That's it, you know. Crazy as that, running Windows 7 on an Apple computer. Oh man. Oh, we all hate those vertical videos all the time. It's crazy. Fixie Clary says people take still pictures and portraits, so they sometimes instinctively take videos that way. I always take still pictures in landscape. I always take in landscape too. I've always used landscape both for the pictures and for the videos. They're better like that, and they fit the screen when you want to look at them. It's better. It's just better. Uncle Wink, nice to have you here. W4FJM, pretty cool. And yeah, it drives everybody crazy. Yeah, you do have power, absolutely, Fazlon. That I know. There's no problem with that. We'll actually check that out. So you know, I'm gonna go. This laptop was actually working very well with what it had, which was Elementary OS right now, which is kind of a variant of, you know, of Linux Mint. But man, I installed 1804. I wanted to see it because it was brand new. You know, it just came out this week. But they had a lot of problems. It was actually pushed back many times. It's slow. It's bad. Chromium crashes all the time. I hate it. I'm going back to another distro, that's for sure. GNU Radio is the best. I need to try that out. Maybe I need to play with it again, for sure. Man. So what else do we have? Anybody have missed? Hey, Richard Cook, nice to have you on board. AF Blassie from Oakland, California, nice to have you here. Pretty cool. What else do we have? Hey, take care, Mad Radio DXer. Always nice to have you on board. Anything else? No, it doesn't work. macOS 10.7 is the last on the. I have a polycarbonate MacBook from 2008, I believe. It's an old MacBook, and that thing does not run anything later than 10.7, which is sad because it could probably run 10.11. It's just that they decided they don't want to support it at all. So it does not support later versions. Alex uses Linux Mint with Cinnamon. For some reason, Linux Mint does not install on my 17-inch Toshiba. It crashes during the install. I have no idea why. Romania on 13650 on right now, coming in. Let's try it out. Like yesterday, we had 13650 for Romania.
Will supplement București Cultural for another 7 years. For her journalistic career, Gabriela Adamășteanu received the Helman Hammett Grant by the Human Rights Watch in 2002. She was also vice president of the PEN Romanian Center between 2000 and 2004 and a president of this organization between 2004 and 2006, as well as an honorary president of the first edition of the Romanian Goncourt Prize in 2013. In 2014, Gabriela Adamășteanu received the French distinction Knight of the Order of Arts and Letters.
So that's a pretty good signal from Romania, 13650 right now. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Fiona also says good and solid signal on 13650 AM. Nice. That's pretty nice. And we are, of course, tuning around the bands. They're also on another frequency. Let's try the other one, which is, let me just check that out here in the schedules. I believe the other is 11. What's the 11 something? 11. Let's just check that out. Okay, so Radio Romania is also on 11850. Yeah, that's the other one. 11850. And 11850, 11850. Let's check that one.
Every day, summer, spring, the encounter.
Not bad at all. 11850.
She's also the author of high quality and exquisite journalistic writing, and she has interviewed people from various walks of life, from very different social and cultural circles. She's an author who has built not only a literary opus, but a magazine as well, which, after she left, was never the same again.
Acceptance speech at the Georgi Kuchun Award, Gabriela Adamistano recollected her meeting with late writer Georgi Kuchun.
Pretty good on 11850 also. I'll be checking that out for the Xander Mark says Skywave Linux should work fine with SDR, and you can run it on USB stick. I'll you know, that's the one I was testing out, Skywave Linux. But I'm trying to remember if I had the Fedry. I think I did not retry it since I have the Fedry SDR. So I'm going to have to try it out. I'm going to re-download a version of Skywave Linux and test it out. Because one of the things I get asked quite regularly, honestly, is, oh, well, I got a Mac, you know, because all the videos that I've been making were all around Windows. But I do get people, you know, like, hey, I have a Mac. What software on a Mac computer could I use for software-defined receivers or for decoding digital modes? You know, thank God, FLDG, it works on Windows, on Mac, and on Linux. So it's cool because that software works on these platforms. But if I could make videos showing, you know, one of the things that I get asked all the time is, man, can you do setup videos? Because I'm totally lost as how to set up the software to have it working with my SDR. And it is often something that's a big problem. So, you know, if I could do these videos, I would be helping others also at the same time, for sure. Mark H, hello there. Nice to have you on board. Enoch Nevdal, nice to have you here from Norway. With your friend watching me. Sorry. So with your friend watching me. Pretty cool. And thank you very much. Nice to have some people from Norway. I was thinking, you know, I was thinking again last night of how fantastic it is, just thinking that I'm here in Montreal, Canada, doing this live stream, and have all of these people from all around the world that are actually joining in the live stream. It is so cool to see this. I mean, really amazing. It's really amazing. Okay, what else do we have? Neil Toombs, hello there, says Radio Romania booming on 6170 in the UK. Yeah, in Europe, 6170 is the frequency for Europe. The 11850 and 13650 are for North America. And yeah, there's a lot of things that I've seen. I believe last time I looked at one of the Skywave Linux or something, I was kind of surprised to see that it had not been updated in a long time. That is something that is like, I like to have something that is there's at least updated, you know. I don't like, you know, I'm a little sensitive on computer security, so I don't want and I don't like things that are not updated for a while, because I don't like using them. You know, there's always a security risk going with it. So, you know. Chen Gyu, nice to have you here, and thank you very much. What am I drinking? I started off with flavored water. So this is peach and mango juice that I filled about half the glass and filled the rest of it with water. Because I don't like to drink just water. So, you know. NDK2 says 11.50, even fainter here, 13.650. Then 13.650 last summer. This broadcast came in pretty good almost every day. And it should technically. Let's hope for that propagation. So, Ronald Klontz, nice to have you on board. William Helms from Florida, nice to have you here. Happy Cinco de Mayo to everybody. And anybody heard that Cinco de Mayo pirate, by the way? Was it on last night, or anybody know if it was on? I know that there's that pirate that's a yearly pirate that does the Cinco de Mayo stuff. And we'll be checking that out a little bit for sure. What else do we have? Looking at the chat. MDK2 says, I had to start using Windows because although my RSP2 Pro can work with Cubic SDR on the Mac, nearly all of the ham software like FLDG, MFSTV are Windows only. Well, FLDG is Mac also. FLDG is Mac also. It's Mac and Linux, actually. But MMSSTV is Windows only, absolutely. That is true. I'm actually going through, I started going through some software for decoding. But I don't know, maybe it's me, but sometimes when I see, like, you know, like Black Cat Systems has a lot of software for Android and for iOS, for the Apple side, but I have a hard time, you know, with the prices. $15 for a decoding software for a phone, a smartphone. I find it harsh for a smartphone. I find it harsh. For Windows or for a desktop computer, for some reason, I have less problems paying $20 or $15. But you know, it's like some software. The other day, I was looking at a piece of software that was really, really interesting. I'm trying to remember which one. It was really, really good. But it had a 30-day trial. Then you look at the price, and it's like, seriously, you're selling that $99? You know, you're okay. Software is good, works well, but I ain't paying $100 for a piece of software. That is way too high. I'm sorry, I can't pay that high for software, the codes, modes, and stuff. Especially because we already have choices that are free. And I don't mean that you have to give away your software. That is, you know, I understand there's hard work going within creating these pieces of software. But the thing is, you know, come on, $100, please, let's get serious here. That's too high. I'm not paying that. You know, I'm okay with paying for software, but not paying prices like that, honestly. Vianney Arsenault, 11850. 20 dB over there. Hey, Eric Cottrell, nice to have you here. Skywave Linux looks interesting. I tried it once, but it didn't last very long. I tried it once on my laptop and quite rapidly uninstalled it. Maybe I need to take a look at it again. Absolutely. The K2 13650 getting stronger. Keegan says some adjacent channel interference on 1150, 850 from 11860. Okay. What else do we have? Stream is still very strong here. I'll just keep an eye for the stream because I always want to know. If you guys lose the if you lose the stream, just refresh. It happens from time to time when you are watching the stream. The X-Bar is drinking wine. Pretty cool. Yeah, GP5 and ICR20. They are one of the things that you got to understand with the GP5 and the ICR20. They're not at all the same type of radio. And so the R20, being a communications receiver, has its own advantage of what you listen to. Where the where, you know, and for shortwave, the GP5 is probably 100 times better than the R20. The R20 has also one problem: the filter, the bandwidth filter for shortwave is way too wide. So if you have two stations really close, it's not working well. You know, my R20, I use it for other purpose, like, you know, tuning into satellites or stuff like that, and VHF, UHF. For that, it's an amazing radio. So a few things like that, and, you know, listening to two frequencies at the same time, that's a cool thing of the R20. But for shortwave, I would definitely prefer picking up the GP5, honestly. Nobody logged the Cinco de Mayo pirate on the HF Underground, but some other pirates adds a Cinco de Mayo show. Huh. Okay. I need 4 fingers of vodka with that peach and mango juice. I'm sure it would be great, but the problem is I would then probably go and do more 4 fingers of vodka with more mango and peach juice, and I want to kind of stay rather okay tonight. That's why I don't have alcohol in my home. Honestly, I never have alcohol in my home, because there will be a time I'll be sitting down working on YouTube videos or listening to shortwave, and then it gets to me at like, you know, 6 or 7 p.m. I'm like, oh, that'd be good, some, you know, vodka and juice or something. And the problem is if I take 1, I will take 10. I have no control. So by having no alcohol except for the live shows, well, that is a control. I don't drink alcohol in the other days that I don't do shows, and pretty much it. Comes from my dad's side. My dad was a really good drinker. You know, my dad was not alcoholic per se, but he was a very good drinker, and we have that in the family. Me and my brother, when we start drinking together, nuts, totally nuts. Everybody looks at us and is like, "Whoa, you guys are nuts." It's a family thing. But we're not, you know, I'm not an alcoholic. I won't drink. You know, it's been so many times I didn't, you know, drink any alcohol for months, and I don't even think about it. You know, it's like, nah. But if I have it available, I might be tempted more often. You know. You know, I don't have problem paying money for an app, honestly, but I do find that some of them are a little out there, you know. MDK2 says, so Amrator Deluxe is $99. Yeah. MDK2 have DX Toolbox and wasn't happy to find out that there's an annual license fee that goes with it, $15. Yeah. You know, at least if you just pay $15 and it's yours, okay, that's cool. An annual license? Come on, please. Eric Control says, part of the problem I have is not knowing even half of the packages available for Linux. Skywave Linux could be used as a guide to what is available, I suppose. Yeah, that is one thing, absolutely. Because I'm the same here. I don't know half of whatever. You know, I just recently was using gpredict for satellite tracking when I did the my satellite tracking videos and stuff like that for the amateur radio satellites. And I was like, oh, gpredict, wow, that's a nice tracking satellite tracking software for Linux. You know, I kind of like one thing: if more and more of these packages would be available. You know, more and more distros, Linux distros now have a store, an app store if you want, where you can get the software. If those were available easily through the app store that you just click, it installs, it works, maybe it'd make it easier for all of us to have something like that. David Williamson, why don't you have a show on vintage transmitters and receivers and handhelds? Because I have none to show, really. I don't have a lot of stuff that is per se vintage. I've got a few American 5 tube sets, But most of the stuff I have is rather modern in its technology, except for a few older radios. You know, and that's probably one of the oldest I've got here. The tube sets that I've got are probably a little older than that, but still in the 60s for the most part of them. So I don't have a lot of stuff like that to really talk about. So F. Lassie says, I'm here, I'm sad too looking at my old QSLs. You know, it's not being sad, but it does, you know, some of the QSLs, I've got have a story behind them, and when I look at them, I start like, you know, oh man, remember when I got this one, it was a snowstorm, and there was this and that, and I get the feel of that moment when I would tune around the bands. It's crazy. It's crazy. Alex P1SBM says, I don't have problems paying for an app or software, but the ham software is usually full of bugs and not at a level of, but just to justify the amount they ask. Most of the time, yeah. Eric Cottrell, yeah, exactly. You know, like Eric Cottrell says, the R20 is really like most of the wide-angle scanners, made for VHF, UHF listening. Adds the possibility to, you know, go lower into the bands, but it's really, you know, a VHF, UHF radio. That's where it does its thing. Cosmic Lettuce, cannabis is healthier for you. yeah, it's getting legalized soon here in Canada. But no, cannabis is something that, you know, I just go to sleep. It's like, you know, that would be like crazy, and I'd be banned from YouTube probably for just that. Keegan says 11860 radio Havana Cuba ID. Let's check out the signal here. It's there, but it's weak. Very weak. What's here? 11820, a good signal from the Saudi Arabia. 11915 also. 11820 and 11915 are both Saudi Arabia with their Holy Quran thing. Zach Anto, what's your favorite old movie? Oh God. I gotta say I have, well, I get a kick of watching The Wizard of Oz. That movie is just incredible, the way it was made for the time. But there's a lot of old movies I enjoy watching. I love the old black and white horror movies. They're always, you know, they're more mysterious and weird, and there's something about them that I just love. What's the other one? There's quite a few old movies that I actually love. Fabrice Simonet, bonjour, bienvenue. Hope everything's all right. Nice to have everybody here. David in Barcelona, hello there. Keegan says a 12,000 kilohertz station, mentioning Cinco de Mayo. I believe that's Cuba, 12,000. It's very weak here. Let me just check what's on at 12,000 kilohertz. 12,000 kilohertz is, yeah, this time it's Radio Havana, Cuba, in Spanish. Radio Havana, Cuba, 12,000 kilohertz. They had a few frequency changes recently. Best Linux ham software is CQR log. I'll have to check that out. Oh, it's the Ham Radio Deluxe on Linux without all the crap. Ah, okay. Kind of interesting. Oh, you know, J.D. Williamson, YouTube bans easily for all sorts of weird reasons. Richard Cook says 15140, very strong station. I have something very weak on 15140. that would be, let me check that out here, 15140. According to this, technically should be at this time. Should actually be Radio Sultanate of Oman. It's the only thing. Cuba is not at that time on the frequency. It seems to be, if it's an Arabic, apparently it's Oman. Oman, and on 15140 still. So 15140. Somebody was asking me, you know, when I tune around, because he was looking at some of my videos, and he was wondering, you know, when you tune around, do you have any tricks? Because he says, regularly I see that you tune around and post videos of these unusual signals that you get, and I'm wondering, do you have a technique or a way of tuning around the bands that is helping you in the search for signals? So there are two things, of course, and one of the first things that I have to say is you got to tune around. It's as simple as that. It sounds crazy, but I see too many people that listen to shortwave and have the habit of just listening in to the same signals and the same frequencies all the time. And you know, that's a bad habit, because if you listen in to the same signals and the same things all the time, you will never find really cool things to listen to or unusual signals that might be on the air. The other thing also, a lot of people have the tendency to, oh, well, I never hear anything from 20 to 30 megahertz. Why bother tuning there? Because after I've went there for 4 or 5 times in a, in a month, I never hear signals, so there must be nothing there to listen to. That's another very, very one of the things I see often from shortwave listeners. Or, you know, the tune like, oh, well, you know, 16 to 17 megahertz, there's nothing there except noise and weird signals that I, you know, can't decode. And it's like, yeah, but there's stuff in there. There's unusual stuff in there sometimes. So you got to take, first of all, the habit of tuning everywhere. And that's something that's been part of my shortwave listening for ages. I mean, looking at the bands and tuning everywhere around the bands is how I find the unusual signals. You got to go there. It's not because you went there 20 times, didn't hear a signal, that the 21st time you're not, you know, you might hear something unusual. There's a lot more signals in the shortwave bands than people think. Very, very often in some of the frequency ranges, there's actually tons of little unusual and weird things that you just don't know where they come from. You just don't know what they are. From fishermen, from all sorts of little signals from whatever is happening in different areas of the world that pop up, and you know, it's like, okay, it is worth tuning every megahertz of the frequency spectrum of shortwave. That's the only way that you will actually have a lot of discovery of signals. You know what I was thinking the other day, because that's a question that somebody asked me and said, so, you know, you posted a couple of videos of unusual signals that you've received, and so, you know, I said you must listen to every day to have, you know, these unusual signals. Honestly, if you tune around the bands and take a couple of hours to go around all the time, almost every day you will find something unusual. Almost every day you will find one of these signals that you don't know what it is, or something that maybe somebody mentioned in a post on the internet. It's got, oh, look, that guy heard that station or that thing, and you know, oh, look at that, today I'm receiving it. He's right, there is a signal there. There is something unusual. There might be a number station that's not, you know, that's been logged a few times, but people, you know, don't hear it often. There could be a lot of things there. So you gotta tune around. Very, very important to do so. And like I said, most of the times, doing so in taking a few hours to do so, very often you will stumble across different little things. And it's very important to tune around. One of the things that, I got two advantages here. So, for anybody that has an SDR, the power of the display is great. Because in that display, you can see signals. So if I move around, in the different frequency ranges, I will see signals that I might want to tune. So here there's a lot of interference, but, if I go, say, to 13 megahertz, just try that one. So you start looking and say, oh, there's something here. What's that signal here? So you can click on it, and it's like, okay, that's a Stanak signal. So you see this different signal showing up in your display, and what you can do is, of course, tune around. So once you see something, it's like, oh, there's something here. What's that on? Okay, 13560. That's interference. But you just look at the display, and you have tons of little signals. For example, there's a strong signal right here. That's WWCR 13845. Look at all the signals that's in the beginning of 14 megahertz, the 20 meter band right now. Look at the 20 meter band. There's tons of activity on the sideband side. So you just go here and I start tuning around. So that's so there's a contest apparently.
What's my number?
Trying to get a call.
001, Roger. Thank you. QRZ, Italy, Uniform 8, Hotel, Papa, Delta, contact.
Italy Uniform 8. So this is Italian amateur station. So you see that when you have an SDR, yeah, there's that side of getting these stations because you could see it in the display. But the majority of you out there don't have that. They have a portable radio. They have maybe a desktop, like, I've got the ICOM here. So what will I do? How would I tune in to get signals and try to find unusual signals? Very simple. So I'm going to pick up here my, as an example, my Texan PL 680. Okay? So what I would do is put the radio in sideband mode, first of all. And you're going to ask me, why would you put your radio in sideband? Because in sideband, you actually can hear within the noise much weaker signals than in AM mode. Plus, think about the fact that between the international broadcast ranges, you also have most of what is there is in single sideband or will be received using single sideband on your radio. So I will put always myself, I want to tune in, I would go and say I try 14 megahertz, and I don't know if I'll hear anything, but we'll extend the antenna just for the fun of it, but there's a lot of noise here, I don't think it's going to work. I put myself, of course, in the sideband mode. I have upper lower sideband on this one, which is nice. So if you have upper or lower sideband available, put the sideband on the side that you're tuning. So, and at least that's my trick. So upper sideband, I'm going up in frequency while I'm tuning. I'm going down in frequency. What I'll do often is put it in lower sideband when I tune downwards. But most of what you'll hear is an upper sideband, so you better maybe just leave it there. It's just that for me it makes it easier to identify the signals, and most of what is utility is upper sideband anyway. So I'll tune around in upper sideband and see if I hear something. So here there's a Not hear much. Well, I hear FT8 here. There's some FT8, not very strong, but there's some FT8 here. The other trick is to try to... I got way too much interference in here. The other trick is to tune slowly, very slowly. Don't rush the tuning on searching for signals, because you will jump over signals that were there, but that you just missed because you're tuning too fast. So that's another thing that you need to remember when you tune around. And you know, that's pretty much the way I tune around and find signals. So on the portable, put yourself in sideband, tune very slowly, listen to every little details within the noise. You'll find signals there, you'll find things to listen to. Then just change. I will often, for weak signals from stations in the international broadcast bands, for example, I will often tune in sideband, because I'll hear the carrier and the sideband. So sometimes, I remember somebody saying, you know, I was watching your live show the other day. How can you actually say that a station is there, but even though you don't hear it? And you know, the guy was saying, I see you saying, oh, look at that, it's weak in the noise, but honestly you're not hearing it, and it's because I'm not hearing it. I can't, you know, I can't understand what they're saying. It's way too weak in the noise. But because I'm in sideband, I actually can at least detect the carrier. So I'll go through and it's like, oh, a very weak carrier. For example, I tried Radio Thailand last night, 15590 at 0-100. Well, it had a weak carrier. I could hear the carrier there with a little wobbly carrier. So it's like, yeah, that's Thailand. It's just too weak. Or I just have too much noise to actually make it clear to listen to. So using sideband, I actually can detect that, yeah, that's probably hit. It's there. It's just too weak for me to. But at least it gives me a kind of confirmation that the signal is there, honestly. So if you guys want to listen to that Italian station, 14263 upper sideband, if you're still there. IU8 station from Italy. Okay, take a little babble break. Going down again slowly. Going down again slowly. RD Beast has got 15140 in North Central Ohio, real strong, pretty cool. Richard Cook says Romanian Spanish 15670. Mickey has RNZI Radio New Zealand on 13730 in the West Coast, Alberta, Canada. I'll see if I can hear something out of it. So, for example, I put myself in sideband, a kilohertz down. I can hear the tone from the carrier, kind of telling me, yeah, it's probably making it very weakly here, but I can't really make out anything. It's too weak for me. Of course, the West Coast has a better signal. HM01 on 16180. Let's see if it's still there. 16180, which is the Cuban number station. Nothing on 16180 here. General Wilson says, I think I hear a station tuning around. I'm trying to find a carrier with LSB mode. You know, using single sideband is very handy to use when you're tuning around. And you know, I use, like I say, I use depending on the side that I'm going to. I use upper sideband when I'm moving up in frequency, lower sideband when I'm tuning downwards in frequency. Kind of helps me out here. P. Kinder, nice to have you here. The most interesting signal I ever tuned across was Spanish, and was while I was listening. Heard gunfire and yelling. You know, you can hear so many things on the shortwave bands. I mean, there's some people that actually have heard history as it happens while listening to shortwave. I remember Sheldon. We were talking about that, and he was talking to me about a few instances of things that he'd heard through the shortwave bands that were history. I still remember and being excited when, well, not excited positively, but excited of being in the front of news when I heard Radio Moscow announce that there was a problem at the Chernobyl nuclear plant, which was like, wow, they just announced it. We already are talking about it here because it took a few days for them to actually admit there was a problem. But I was like, oh, look at that. Radio Moscow is mentioning it right now. You're in the news of what's happening suddenly. You are listening to what's happening. You guys that follow me on my Perry Island, if you guys remember, 2-3 years ago, Perry Island, I heard a aeronautical communication, a plane in the Caribbean with a man on board that was having a heart attack. And they actually had the doctor put through on a phone patch. And it's like, wow, you hear the action, you hear something that's happening live. And shortwave is full of those. You have to listen in. It's full of those. Eric Cottrell says, try 10 meters. It's open from Europe to Eastern North America. Let's check it out. Let's check 10 meters. Anything on 10 meters? Oh, I got a lot of noise on 10 meters. You know what, guys? I'm just going to do something here. I'm going to shut it down for a second. And I wonder if I'm not using the wrong power supply for my Fridri SDR. Just going to take a second here, guys. Because I've got this weird noise that isn't as pronounced as that usually. I'm kind of wondering if it's not the wrong cheap Chinese cube, because I've got like 3 of them that are lying around. Only one of them is zero noise when I plug it in. Let me just restart here. Okay, let's go back. So the network is okay. So let's go to 15,000. Let's go to 28,400. Nope, I got the same lines. I don't know where that comes from though. Kind of weird. Does it come from here? No, it's not. I don't know where. I don't usually have those lines on the 10 meter band. Weird. Very weird. Very weird. So, but if I look in between the lines, I don't see any 10 meter activity here. Not right now, anyways. So, nothing much right now. Wow, my 10 meter band is full of these lines. Weird. Really weird. Bud Householder, nice to have you here from Ohio. Richard Cook says 17550, very strong. Am I hearing anything on 17550? Nope. Is there a signal from, let me just check here. I believe Spain was on. Nothing on 17 megahertz really much happening right now. David in Barcelona says, in sideband it's possible to detect the whistle of an AM carrier if the modulation of the sideband AM signal is too weak. That exactly. It's really a great way to find those weak signals within the bands. So really kind of interesting. So what else do we have? Yeah, small moves, Cosmic Lettuce, and like in that movie Contact, when she's on the ham radio and her dad says, "Small moves, going too fast." Very important to find really exotic DX. You got to do it by very, very small increments. Danny, Shortwave Radio DX. Hey there from Yonkers, New York. Pretty cool to have you on board. Bruce Odenbaugh, nice to have you here. Yes, it is neat. Take care, Cosmic Lettuce. Nice to have you on board. And I'll try to make it tonight to the to your astronomy show. And no problem, Cosmic Lettuce. I'm happy to help you out here. Always nice to help you out. Indicator says, my mistake, the ham I have on 24952 USB is CX7CC from Montevideo, Uruguay. Wow. 24952, let's check it out. Do I hear him here? You know, that's one of the bands I don't go very often, and I've heard a lot of good DX. That little portion of amateur band just above, you know, just below the 25 megahertz range, the 24,890 to 24,990, I believe, something like that. Mark Brando says Spanish numbers on 16180. Welcome aboard, by the way. Zuel Fakar, nice to have you here. Greetings from Ontario. Got a 10 Tech PC radio. Cool. Cool. Pretty nice to have everybody here. What else do we have? Jack Antle says, I've been looking at around Shreddit's bad men when find attractive. Looks like women these days still think Clark Gable and Paul Newman are hot. Yeah, you know, there's kind of a trend. And there's, by the way, anybody that has Netflix, there's a thing called Brain Games. They're episodes of that are very interesting. If you want to see how your brain is wired, look at that series, Brain Games. And one of the episodes, they actually show you that your brain is already wired for what type of people, and that the majority of us are all already wired to who. So it's kind of, everybody finds that a specific type of face is cute. Now there's other details that go with it, but it kind of tells you, you know what, there's a mathematical equation in our brain of what we like and what we find attractive. It's very, very interesting. You guys need to check it out. Brain Games, anybody, if you can watch the series Brain Games, there's a few seasons of those. Very, very, very nice. And you'll be amazed at a lot of the stuff that you're going to actually have to do, because there's an interaction with that series. You can participate at the same time as they're doing the exercise most of the time. So it's very, very nice. William Hell says, that's what I said to my friend when I have my scanner hat, listening to what's on news at 6 now. You know, there's some stuff like that that is interesting also. You know, you hear the I remember one of the times I was with a friend of mine, and we would tune in to a frequency of the CBC. It was the studio, kind of a studio link, like microphone or something. So you'd listen to the news anchor, and when they would have commercials, you would hear him rant about something or whatever, and it was hilarious, because you kind of see a side of the people. You know, the news anchors are all like, you know, smiling and nice on the TV, but that is so funny, because then you hear the commercial time, and it's like, okay, the guy's ranting and he's using bad language and whatever. It's like, well, this is kind of another take on that person. And then, you know, the ads, the commercials are over and he's coming back on the air, and you're like smiling again, and you're like, wow, okay, so you're a jerk when you're actually off camera, but you look nice when you're on camera. It's like, okay. So Smoik says, are you broadcasting your signal over ham radio frequency? Nope. Sometimes there's a pirate that rebroadcasts my stuff. Radioactive is hearing 24952. I'm not hearing anything here, unfortunately. See, totally dead here. I don't know if it's because I'm a little norther or something, but what do you think about broadcasting video over ham frequencies? You know, I am a big fan of digital modes on the amateur radio bands. I like all the amateur radio stuff, honestly, and it's very, very interesting to you know, check that out. And everything is possible, you know. Anything is possible. What else do we have? But you know, you can transmit images. There's you know, slow scan TV, for example, that you can broadcast images over the shortwave frequency ranges. So it's like really nice. Am I dreaming, or did my camera go out of focus? I'm just trying to check it out here. No, it's okay. Because I always disable the autofocus because it's always annoying on the stream. I finished my flavored water, and that means I can open my beer now. And I only have one left. I drank a few while I was doing the tech show on Thursday, and I drank like 5 or 6 last night. And yes, it is okay. I'll be checking that out here. Oh yeah, it is. I just seen it. Let me just change the source settings here, because it is annoying when you move. It kind of always wants to autofocus. So, sorry guys, it's gonna freeze for a few seconds. And yep, autofocus is on. Let's turn that off. There we go. Save. I thought, because I was looking at the okay, I was looking at just slightly, and I was like, God, I just, you know, I wasn't sure. I thought it'd go off of focus and come back, and I wasn't sure. So I always turn it off. You know, the problem is that if I use another piece of software for the camera, that piece of software changes the settings, and when I come back to Wirecast, the settings that the other software actually changed are still here. So for example, autofocus. Wade Spencer, hey there, nice to have you here. I'm test driving my new Sanjin ATS 909X that my cousin did not want, so it's sitting on his desk collecting dust. He gave it to me. It gave it a happy home. Well, that is cool. I would not accept any radios that sit on a desk and people don't use it, because I gotta say, it's really sad. You know, I still remember when I was doing take duties and I saw that a client of mine that actually would use a Grundig Satellite 800, and the only thing it would do with it is listen in to the CBC FM outlet, and that radio would not tune anything else. And when you look at that, it's like, oh man, this is so sad. Such amazing radio that does such amazing things will never do anything else than just sit on 95.1 FM and for its entire life. And you're like, why the hell did you buy such an expensive radio for, you know, buy a $25 AM FM radio if that's all you want to do. It's enough. I don't know. It's crazy. And I remember I asked him, oh, you listen to the shortwave bands on it? Nope. Don't even know what to do. Don't even know what it is. Okay. Wow. You know, I could have exchanged a lot of the radios I got here for that Grundig 800, and he would have been a happy, you know, just an example, if you wanted great sound, I would have actually, you know, gave him one of the, like, you know, the Super Radio 3, for example. It's perfect for AM FM. It has a great speaker, great sound. Might as well use that and, you know, tune into the FM outlet of Radio Canada. With you know, I don't know. It's crazy. I still can't understand that you are listening to just one station. One station. And you're staying there all the time. Oh, really? Sheldon, interesting. Might be, you know, YouTube sometimes have glitches. Because here I look at my indices. I have two indications of my outboard stream. One is via the YouTube stream page where I see a green line. But on my Wirecast software, the stream button, and there's a little indication of how much data I'm sending out. All are maxed out, so meaning usually I'm okay, and it's not supposed to have any glitches. But you know, from time to time, YouTube does have issues. And from time to time, things like that happen. And you got to refresh when that happens, Sheldon. It's most of the time it's YouTube, kind of YouTube problems more than anything else. Yeah, there is something called ATV, amateur television. I remember somebody doing experiments here in Montreal, and I don't know if there's anybody else that does that. I don't know if Sheldon knows. There was a amateur TV station, an ATV UHF station, that I believe you could actually receive on one of the channels of old analog TVs in the UHF range. I have no idea if this still goes on or still exists, but I remember one guy doing experiments from time to time, and for some reason I've never really been able to receive it or anything, but I do know that it happened for sure. J.D. Wilson says something Spanish on 17855, which is usually, and I believe still, Radio Exterior de España, if I'm not mistaken. And the K2 says, I would have offered that guy to buy that guy a new radio and trade. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Did they ever use it? David Barcelona says there's a DATV transmitter on the ISS, specifically in the Columbus module, normally used to send video of astronauts during school contacts, in which the audio link is done on the 145-800. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Staunton, Illinois sand, 11-second delay. Not bad at all, honestly. TV Tech says for non-shortwave, I use an ICOM ICR 7000 with DSD Plus short software, bought new in 1991. So, you know, soft porn on ATV. So, Radio Havana, Cuba, 6,000 kilohertz. I don't know if I can, probably I can tune around. It's here. There's something very weak. So what is there here? There's something on 59, 60.
A bunch of fun. Hey, KK. Who are you? Ryan. Oh, hello. Hello. Yeah, Ned. I just saw your message, and I just can't believe how further up or down it has been.
Well, in other words, it's been news tested, so I can give it
Oh, here's my handkerchief. If you need that, Ryan.
No, I'll be strong.
Okay, yeah.
So that's China Radio International via the Albania transmitter site, coming in on 5960 kilohertz. So what else do we have here? Very weak, but there. CFRX Toronto 6070. Anything else? 6195 kilohertz. There's something on 6195. Yes, I can get CB absolutely with the SDR here. I was looking earlier. There was some off and on stuff happening. Right now, it's rather quiet. This is channel 6, 27025. It's rather quiet right now. But there's been some off and on activity on that frequency range in the past 24 hours. Definitely. So kind of interesting. So I always hop on to channel 6 from time to time to see if propagation's right, and check it out. 6195. What's that right now? I believe it's Voice of America, if I'm not mistaken. 6195. 6195. BBC. At this time is, yeah, Voice of America in English from Botswana. It's very weak for me, but it's there, 6195 right now. I always, anybody that has a radio, any type of radio that they want to send me, I do accept radio donations without any problem. Anybody can give me radio donations. I got no problem with that. Well, you know what? MDK2 says Channel 6 was good today, but better yesterday. A son in Illinois sense. I wish they had manners. There's like no manners on the CB bands. It's like a big mush of bad language and all sorts of things. It's just like who can actually really be stronger than the other and so on. Well, just send me an email at officialshortwaveradio@gmail.com, my friend, and we'll work it out. And absolutely, any radios that I receive, I will actually do a review on it for sure, no problem. So MDK2, yeah, it's kind of that, absolutely. As you say, I think the chaos is part of the idea of that channel. It's like the CB version of a rugby scrum. Yeah, something like that, But it's I like at least one thing is that it actually enables me to see if there's propagation going on in a specific band, which is nice. Richard Cook's got channel 292 on 6070. Coming in good. So let's check it out here. What else? What other signals do we have here? There's some. This is some weather facts being transmitted. I think that's Boston, Massachusetts on that frequency. This is Stanag. So any other things here? What's Radio Teletype on 6486 7. Anything else? So there's something here. Wow, look at that strong digital thing. Does anybody know what that is? Does anybody have an idea what that is? Pretty strong too. I'll be back. I'll be back in 2 seconds, guys. I just want to see something because I hear noise and the door in the back is open. Just want to see if everything's all right. Coming back, guys. There's a couple of cats that are actually stealing Paul's food when I leave the door open. I want to make sure that no cat is entering, and I'm always afraid that maybe some cat could bring my cat some kind of disease or something because he's eating his food. I don't like that. So what else here? No, the SDR, this SDR does not pick up HDTV stations. This is not made, but I can listen to HDTV stations just using this TV and over-the-air broadcast. So, you know. So, we did it yesterday. Oh, really? It's HF Acars? HF, kind of interesting. Yeah, but that's in the 6661 is in the HFDL. Can you decode that HFDL with something? Isn't that for the aeronautical stuff? Because look at that. That's really strong. Is there a software we can decode something with that? 6661 HFDL. Because I think that's smack in the middle of the aeronautical band here. Simeo 1337, hello there. Rob Webster, welcome aboard. Okay, 6661, let me just go here. Radioactive says 6661 is Riverhead, New York, HFDL. Huh. Yeah, there's some bandits taking his food, absolutely. And one of them is so scared that the other day I went to the kitchen and he was actually eating in his food, and he got so scared he ran out the door and he almost flipped over the balcony, and I'm three stories high. He almost flipped over and fell down 3 stories. I was like, whoa, I don't want you to steal my cat's food, but I don't want you to kill yourself. You know, and he's like, one of them is really, really, like, always scared. One night, I went in the back and I shut the door, and I started hearing this cat, you know, whining cat sound. And I'm like, what the hell is happening? I did not know. He got scared and ran in the bedroom, and he was hiding under the bed. I didn't see him. But now he couldn't get back out, so he was like whining like crazy. And man, he was shaking like a leaf when I came back to the door and said, man, relax. I'm just going to open the door to let you out. I'm not going to hurt you or anything. Man, that was crazy. Yeah, DVB-T signals. Yeah, with the original dongle, but they're not ATSC digital, right? So is Arduino useful for this hobby? Yeah. There's some oh, okay, PCHFDL best. What type of information do I decode from that? What is the information being sent out with these types of digital modes? You know, I'm learning. Now I'm learning. I'm asking you guys questions, and you see, I don't know everything. Like, sometimes I'll talk about something that some of you guys will say, wow, you know, I didn't know about that. This is the fun of this show. We're all here to have fun and learn. Well, I'm not going to install software while I'm actually doing the show, but Sorcerer will decode it. PCHFDL. Okay. Okay. English on 27025 mentioning Jamaica. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, there's tons of things with the Arduino that you can do that are related to radio. Absolutely. A lot of people are using these little cheap, you know, Arduino boards, or what's the other one? The other. I'm trying to remember the name, but they use them to do all sorts of radio projects and run SDRs on them instead of using big fancy computers, you know. Send me an email as well, Fakar, and we'll check out the details. If anybody has a radio to donate, by the way, I'll be happy to pay shipping price. You know, I mean, if you're already donating a radio to my show, I will be happy to pay the shipping that it costs to send it to me. So, well, you know, we'll check it out. Just send me an email, and we'll be looking at that for sure. Position reports, telemetry. Okay, interesting. I'll have to try and check that out for sure. Because, man, this one is very strong. I mean, I could probably decode stuff there. John Todd Jr., hey there. I'm hearing an unknown language broadcast 25560 here in Katy, Texas. An idea what it is? In what mode? In upper sideband? And it's if it's in sideband, there's a lot of stuff. Yeah, the Raspberry Pi mini computer. I don't know why I don't have one of those. I should actually buy myself one Raspberry Pi and do radio projects with it, like SDR and post videos. I'm sure some people would get a kick out of seeing me fiddle with Raspberry Pi and radio projects. I need to get one and play around with that. If it's an upper sideband 25560, you might be actually listening into some you know, fishermen, drug dealers, whatever in Central South America broadcasting. I hear a lot of those Spanish language or even unknown language most of the time transmissions all over the bands. These people take the shortwave bands like a CB band. Ray Kelly is hearing Santa Maria strong on 6628. Let's check it out. 6628. Am I hearing it? Whoops. 6628. Anything here? Looking here. Looking at the different aeronautical bands here. Kind of interesting to look at. Not much happening. Let's go up a little. Let's check out the pirate band. Anything around the pirate bands right now? I see this line here, which is nope. Nothing special here. Ain't hearing anything. Lots of activity in the bottom part of the 40 meter band. Look at all these lines of activity in the bottom part of the oh man. So some radio teletype here. Is there a radio teletype contest? Let's turn on the FLDG here and check out up mode, RTTY 45. Let's see. Oh, I forgot. It's not working because I did something wrong the other day. Let me just check out if I can quickly fix that. God. Nope, I can't easily fix it right now. I'm sorry, guys. We'll be stuck at not decoding. I need to fix that. I tried something the other day and it changed all the parameters of my my cards. Sound card, yeah. Port capture. Yep, not available for some reason. I did something wrong, so I'll have to fix that to decode. But let's see if I is there an RTTY decoder for there must be an RTTY decoder for Android. So what I could do is RTTY decoder. So RTTY decoder. There is one, but it's Droid RTTY. It's $7.13. I kind of don't want to spend $7 just for detecting, just for decoding RTTY. I don't know. I'll have to find something here. I could have casted the code on the TV using the phone here, for sure. So let's check it out. There's a strong station here, and there's something. Let's check out this one here. (7205) Radio France International. So I'm hearing France on 7205 in French. in French. S9, S9 plus 10. 7205 Radio France International from France with an interesting signal as we're tuning around the bands. Let's check it out here. LN321, hello there. Nice to have you on board from Norway. What else do we have? Danny Radio Shortwave says 6501 U.S. Coast Guard Maritime Weather. Am I hearing it? 6501 upper sideband. Yep. It's not very strong, but it's there. 6501. What are the frequencies used as this done? Vienna Sonos says 25560 upper sideband, no signal here in the east part, just east of Montreal, basically. PLF Radio, take care, my friend. Always nice to have you on board. Yeah, you know what? If I pay for an app, there's one thing that I would not. That honestly, I cannot accept. If I pay hard cash to buy an app, one of the things I don't want is that you put ads on it. I'm totally okay with putting ads on free apps. It's a way for you to get paid. Okay, got no problem with that. But if I paid, for example, $10 or $5 for an app, you better not have any ads on it, because I don't like. JD Williamson says ARIDX contest CW, SSB, and RTTY. Oh, thanks. That's why there's a lot of activity here. Vianney says 14174. Let's check that one. Upper sideband. EA3, that's a Spanish ham. So amateur radio from Spain. Hey, Mr. Hossam, nice to have you on board. Nice to have you on board. Oui, Jerry. Radio France, c'est très bien. Okay, thanks for the link, Steve. Check that out. So, take care, my friend MDK2, and nice to have you on board. I'll be tuning the bands tonight. I want to do. I don't often do this. I want to do a shortwave radio Saturday night tonight. And by the way, I didn't annoy anyone in the past 2 hours with this, but I'll do my little self-promotion annoying moment. PayPal.me/shortwave or the Yahoo email you see here if you want to donate a little something for me, because I take a lot of time doing these shows. It is time-consuming. I'm here quite regularly, except when there's major issues happening. But I think that I always get a lot of positive comments. People saying, "Hey, love your shows, love what you do. It's just amazing." You know what? Why not think about a little something to help me out? Patreon.com/radio and computers. It's another place where you can donate. It's a little tricky, that one. I've got 10 patrons right now that are giving a little something every month. It's typically taken off your credit card at the beginning of the month, and you can join those. But PayPal one-time donation is perfect, and it's easy to do. You don't even need a credit card to donate through PayPal, by the way. You just link your checking account and give out a donation, and join the fantastic people that have donated yesterday and the past also. And I'm trying every time that I do this to try to get anyone out there that is watching this show, has been watching for years, loves the show, is there all the time, and that you can spare a little change or something. You know what? I'm trying to go out to those that have never donated, to the show, but that could. If you like what I do, please think about it. Thanks everybody who have donated, and don't worry, I totally understand if you can't donate. no sweat. There's no problem there. And thanks everybody that have donated. Much appreciated here. Okay. Okay. What else do we have? Steve says, great companion program for this great display launcher. Okay, we'll check that out. William Helms says, the neighbor's cat chased me for water of being locked out. Smart cat. She knew I had grocery bags. I was coming home. HM01 Cuban numbers 17480 right now. Yep. That one I hear. 17480. Not super strong, but it's there. I'm hearing the digital hash of the Cuban number station. Danny Shortwave Radio DX says Radio Saudi from Saudi Arabia, 11820. Very strong in New York. S9 plus 20 using my copper loop antenna. Pretty cool. Check that out. It was very strong earlier also. It's in the noise, but it's there. 17480. 11820. Yeah, Saudi Arabia, very, very strong. Saudi Arabia, what's that on 11750? 11750 with some strong signal music. 11750 is at this time checking it out. Oh, it's Adventist World Radio. It's up to 22. No, we're past the 22 mark now. What's that at 2200? 11750. What is that strong signal there? 11750. It's not China National Radio.
I walk with the Lord now, all days.
In English language.
And there's a great joy, there's assurance.
Religious transmission.
There's sweetness about the Lord. And I guess so you just love Him. And I've said it so many times, if you don't have Jesus, it's because you don't know Him. And that's our main emphasis.
Well, this is an unlogged transmission. I don't know what.
Get to know Jesus.
I don't know if it's one of the U.S. stations or what. 11750 English language religious programming, but I don't see it on my list here. I don't see it on my list at all. So kind of interesting here. Monsieur Jacques, bonjour, welcome. Does anyone here happen to have a PL365? If so, do the batteries lose all charge even when using the radio, or do I have a defective unit and batteries? No, you are okay, because the GP5 that I've got here, which is also the PL365, does lose its charge when not being used. You don't have a defective unit. It is like that. I don't know why, and I don't understand why, but I was actually talking about that with Fastload a couple of weeks back at his wife's birthday. And he was mentioning that it doesn't leave batteries in it because the battery's dead. Look, here's mine. GP5 SSB by Conicom, by the way, is the same radio that the Texan PL365. And look, I haven't used this one. So I haven't used mine in about a week. And the batteries are dead. And when actually, a week ago, I had put rechargeable batteries in it that were full charge. And now the batteries are dead. So it's not a defective unit. You don't have a defective unit. Like it says low. It doesn't even turn on now. It does that. And it is annoying, I gotta say. It is very annoying. But I believe it's the way that it's constructed. For some reason, it's actually consuming power even when it's actually turned off. And so these batteries need to be recharged now because they were in that radio. And so it's your unit is not defective. It's the way it is. It is like that. So you got to remember that, you know, if you don't use it, remove the batteries from the radio and put batteries only when you actually use it. It's sad because it's an interesting radio, but it's sad that it does that. Vianney says, finally no more snow, so it will be possible to install some other antennas. Ah, that's cool. No, that's not Brother Stare on the 11750. It's WHRI, Danny Shortwave? WHRI? It is possible. Because I don't have it here in my lists, which doesn't happen very often. Let me just check it out again, but I don't see any English language written. Nope, here it's not on this list anyways. So WHRI, ah, interesting. So they have that new frequency, I guess. Sounds nice, so no Brother Stare. Yeah. Richard Cook says 11750 is weak, so it's WHRI apparently. 11790, I believe, is from Madagascar. Let me just check it out here. 790. Oh, this sounds like Indian music. What is that? 11790 sounds like Indian music. I have the impression of listening to All India Radio. 11790 at 2200. Oh, it's Arabic. It's Radio Feda from Madagascar. It's Madagascar World Voice. Wow, that almost sounds like All India Radio, listening to one of their music programs. So this is the Madagascar World Voice Radio Feda, and it is from Madagascar in Arabic. Wow. I almost thought that was India. Steve, can you see if you can pick up GMDSS data for ship reports frequencies 12576 or 1680315? 12576. Let's check it out here. 12576. Anything here? Not hearing anything right now, but that'd be something to maybe check out for sure. So Madagascar on 11790. So yeah, here it doesn't say KNLS, but it says Radio Feda. So I just sent you some info. Okay, I'm gonna check that out, my friend. I will check that out. Oh, okay, you sent me the okay, source sort of screenshots and everything. Okay, thanks, Radioactive. I'll be checking that out. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Oh, this is what it looks like. Huh. Okay, I'll be checking that out. Thanks for the information. And I did receive your email, my friend, about the radios also. The GP5 itself in its performance and everything is actually good, but the batteries drain. It is something that I've noticed after, you know, the first months I would use it so much that I never seen that it did that. But after I stopped using it regularly, started noticing that, yep, the batteries drain a lot. It's crazy. It is weird. It is weird that it drains batteries. I mean, come on, an LCD display doesn't take power. You know, I mean, you could run an LCD display off batteries for years as it doesn't take power. It's just weird that it does that. So it's not a defect unit. It's just like that for some reason. I don't know why. It's sad because in itself it's not a bad radio at all. Jerry DX says lots of chat on 27025. Let's try it again. 12025. Oh, not 12025. 27025. Let's check it out. Still nothing here in Montreal. Yanni Asino says 11790 between 10 and 20 dB. Hey Lyndon Price, nice to have you here. Yeah, 12,000 is Radio Havana, Cuba, and 12,000 Simeo 1337. The Rob 573, hey there. 11790, crystal clear. Richard Cook says 11680. Yeah, I guess I got to leave it on for a while. What I'll do is I'll monitor it more regularly, Steve. There are some modes in that multi-PSK software that I kind of am curious as to the coding on signals. I just need to find some of the signals because it's not continuous like a lot of, you know. Gary Baker, hey there. Nice to have you on board. Yeah, 7200 are that's the crazy nuts frequency of amateur radio. It's the equivalent of 14313. Is 14313 20 meter band still kind of nut job frequency of AM also, or they're all moved now to 7200? It's crazy. I don't understand. You know that happens. McGlone, hey there. Nice to have you here. Southern Illinois Stan says Pyongyang here on 11680. Wow. I'm gonna try that. 11680. What do I hear? Very, very, very faint carrier here, but nothing to talk about. Maurice Zakarsky says, hey there, how do you see the future of shortwave radio in the internet era? The shortwave radio will survive? Yeah, because the internet does not replace what shortwave is, first of all. You know, we regularly talk about that because there's always a lot of people that say that the internet is the internet's fault if the shortwave is going, which is not at all what I think. I don't think the internet has anything to do with shortwave stations going away, because a lot of people say, well, yeah, you can stream the stations over the internet. No. 90% of the shortwave stations that are gone are gone. They haven't replaced anything with internet broadcasts. And the 10% that did do so, at some point they find out, you know what, nobody's listening on the internet. But we did have listeners on shortwave. So, no, shortwave, the internet's not replacing shortwave. Yes, you can stream tons of stations, but, you know, I'm not interested in listening to a Romanian FM signal, FM station, streaming on the internet that I don't understand the language. You know, that's a much different thing. So it's not true that the internet replaces shortwave. It is not. The other thing is, and I always want to stress it out, in moments when bad things happen, wars, you know, popular uprising, whatever, there's so many ways to shut down the internet so that people can't contact or hear what, or listen to what they want to listen to, or read what they want to read. And you can't shut down the internet. It has no borders. The internet, sorry, the shortwave bands. They have no borders. Shortwave is there. And that's why in Asia and Africa, it's still very, very strong. Anywhere around the world where there's a lot of tensions, where countries are not 100%, you know, fair. You know, China blocks a lot of things. China doesn't want you to see a lot of things on the internet. They don't even allow you to see YouTube. Well, you got stations like Radio Free Asia that broadcast to them. You got all of these modes of you know, these stations that use a medium that is borderless. And I always like to stress. There's one thing that a lot of people don't understand is you can listen to a shortwave broadcast with a very inexpensive radio. Doesn't cost you anything after that. You bought a radio, you got a radio. Doesn't cost you much or almost nothing, just the power to it for the radio. And it's easy to listen from anywhere. You can be in the middle of the desert and listen into a shortwave signal. You can't say the same from the internet. You also have to understand that the internet costs money. Hey, I'm paying $100 a month for internet here. I'm paying through the roof. Why? Because I do live shows, of course. I do YouTube videos. I need fast connections. But still, even the basics, the most basics of internet cost an amount each month. So, shortwave, it's shortwave. It has its own thing. There's a reason for shortwave to exist on the international broadcast side and everything. And I think shortwave radio is going to survive because there will always be the need to have broadcasts that cannot be easily shut down and cannot easily be, controlled. What does a government hate? Anything that it can't control. Well, shortwave, you can't control it. That's it, So I think shortwave has a long way to go. I got to tell you that. So, take care, J.D. Williamson. Sad to see your internet's out. Rob573, 11680, dead here. Yeah, nothing much here either, honestly. What radios would you want donated? Anything that's a radio. Catfight, 7200. Steve says 8600. Yeah, anybody wants to donate an ICOM ICR 8600 for me. I have absolutely no problem in paying the shipping of that radio to me. So please think about it. If you want to do so, I'll be happy to pay for the shipping for that radio. Oh God. Vianney says nothing here, Pyongyang. So not really, because it is like right now that radio I can't run a second instance of HDSDR. It won't be able to connect to the FEDRI for sure. Jenny Epsono says 100% agree with you. Radio bands are always active, but not the same for the internet. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing, There's a lot of stuff, and we have to remember that it's not the same thing. Should the internet go down, you still have shortwave radio. Should the power grid go down, you still have shortwave radio. Just crazy. Crazy. Yeah, there are depending on the SDR that you have. Some allow different, multiple frequencies and stuff like that to be tuned at the same time. Look at the Kiwi SDR, and you can have 4 connections simultaneously. Look at the 20 SDR in the Netherlands. Hundreds of connections, each with their own frequencies, listening to something. That's amazing. No problem, Maurice Zakarski. Happy to answer the question. Really happy to answer the question. So let's tune around a little bit more. Check out what's happening on the bonds. Vianney Seno says, solar panel, batteries, radio. We are on the band to listen or listen and transmit. Absolutely. It's a great example is the field day, amateur radio field day in June, which is a representation of how amateur radio in any with any type of problems of whatever happens, you can set up and transmit and be on the radio waves. Richard Cook, Romania, 9765. Oops. 9760. 9760, Richard. Yeah, not bad signal. 9760, Romania. I just have that's really incredible interference that just started. Should the power? David says, should the power grid go down, we'll still have shortwave radio. And the best is all that noise on the bands would disappear. Yeah, we'd even have better shortwave reception. No more electronics around us. So, you know, yeah, shortwave self-improves when another one fails. Yeah, that is true. Son-in-law Stan says, help me out of here. Do I listen to channel 6 AM or do I listen to 38 LSB? It depends. You know, 38 LSB will have stations maybe receive things from farther away maybe. I use channel 6 AM because if signals are present there, it's just, you know, it means there's propagation to upper bands, can tell you that. Hey Rich in Atlanta, Georgia, nice to have you here. WLO RTTY on 8471. Oh yeah, their transmission, isn't that Navtex? 8471 upper. Yeah, the Navtex transmission. I hear it, but it's very weak. We can see the two lines of the Navtex there. But it's very, very weak. Very, very weak. 8471. I haven't decoded. I don't know if we can. I'm just gonna check something here in my settings. Yeah. Mix, stereo mix. Okay. Let me just. So stereo mix is here, which means if I go here, yeah, that should work. Okay, I need to do something here. Why is that not working? Port. Something is weird on my FLDG. I need to check that out. Is multi-PSK capable of doing this? Multi-PSK. Let's go here. That's kind of weird to, kind of very weak to the code, but we'll see if I can do it. Okay, receive screen. Is that receiving anything? Yep, okay. Let's go to Navtex. Where is Navtex? In that darn window. Here. Navtex. So, here we go. Now, there's something I can decode out of it. Now it's almost gone. I barely hear it. It's just too weak to hear. Way too weak. Way too weak to the code. Where is that signal? Here. Trying to find where the signal is in that arch of noise. There's too much noise. Can't decode it. I sometimes hear it better than that. Sometimes much, much stronger, actually. Oh, okay. Vianney Arsenault says field day. Yeah, for DX, you know, AM channel 6 Southern Illinois, and honestly, is already pretty good. But in sideband mode, you might hear, you know, sometimes the skip is not as strong. So maybe sometimes single sideband, lower or upper sideband, might actually get the fainter stuff that is not always possible on AM mode. You know, we hear much weaker signals in single sideband than we do on AM. So Vianney Arsenault says field day. It's portable ham radio installation all around the world. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. And it's your birthday too. That's cool. I like field day. It's such a cool thing. Honestly. It's such a cool thing. SWL China. Hello, BJ2JZM. BG2JZM. Nice to have you here. And it says same thing for me. Channel 6 CB band is a representative frequency where I can see if propagation is good. Absolutely. Richard Cook says WRMI 7780. Not picking it up. Huh. Let me check it out. 7780. It is... yeah, it's there. I don't hear it very strong in general, but yeah, it's there. It's in the noise for me, but it's there. Have a great weekend, Maurice Zakarski. Nice to have you here. PA1WX. Hey, nice to have you on board. Nice to have you on board. 4XZ from Israel. 6607. Let's see if I can hear it. I heard it the other day. Yep. 4XZ from Israel. Look at that. Decoding. CW, yeah. It's not decoding very well. I'm just gonna lower the output here. Here we go. It should have the code. Yeah, it's not decoding the Z well. What's the speed? Auto receive. I'll put in the auto receive. Here we go. See if we can do it better. So VVV. Oh, what's that? 33. Oh, that's the height of that. Okay. I don't see where's the anyways, it's 4XZ from some of these software don't decode CW very well. This is an example of 4XZ. The other night they were transmitting along 5-letter groups so many times. So many times. Any shortwaves 6604 USB Gander. Let's check it out. Not hearing anything here. Hey, Mr. Cat, welcome again. Nice to see you here. And he says, I hope, Joe, we can participate in the future together on Field Day ARL activity. Will be a pleasure. You know what? It's something that could entirely be possible at some point. What would be nice, Vianney, is a Field Day event, and I could be there and be live while, you know, the Field Day stuff is happening at your station, for example. That could be cool. Mark Brando says, I downloaded Multi-PSK a few weeks ago. Thanks for the tip, Joe. Decoded a few, still fumbling around. Can you please, quick try, 6487. 6487. Okay, that's a radio teletype signal. That could be encrypted. Let's just go to RTTY. Now this is, okay, RTTY. I'm not used to using this one for radio teletype. So what's, okay, let's just, well, let's do this. So here I'm getting only garbage. Let me just check here there must be a reverse button. RTTY. Yeah. I'm not decoding anything here anyways. I believe this one I've tried to decode in the past, and it's kind of encrypted one. Anyways, Danny Shortwave says Cuban fishermen use those bands like CB. Yeah. Rich 6628 Santa Maria Oceanic, same as Ray Kelly in Nova Scotia was hearing that. Oh, look at that! It's starting to come in. I hear stuff. Not very strong, but I hear it. 6628. That's interesting. There were some pips. 6514 upper sideband. I was looking at the display and I could see there was something there. Huh. So anyways, I'm hearing Santa Maria. That was interesting. There were some pips there, like really constant pips, like a time signal pip. Vianney says the propagation is good for practically all bands here this afternoon. Sound is good for the next days. Yeah, there's I know that because of the there's a coronal hole that's getting into view on the sun, and it's actually gonna push some solar wind. Might make conditions a little less interesting starting Monday, Tuesday, around there. Kind of interesting. Chris Alpha Tango, my QTH is Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Northeast part of North America. What's this here? Well, that's Aeronautical Communication 6577. Let me just check 11253, the vomit, Royal Air Force vomit. Not hearing anything but 5450. Well, it gets stronger as the night moves on here, but 5450. What's this one here?
Pretty good, huh? We haven't had Chinese, Japanese food for a long time. I think we'll break out one of these days. We used to go to a very nice little Chinese restaurant when we visited Ron over in York County. And I think that might have been the last time I was at a Chinese restaurant. So anyway, it sounded like you had a good day there. And
last time it was a Chinese restaurant, apparently.
And you too, Ron.
60-meter band activity, 5346.5 upper side band. Yeah, that one is encrypted. I believe I've tried it many times, and I've never been able to decode it either with multi-PSK or FLDG software. Mark Brando. Benny says, with solar activity around the Earth, it's possible to get some surprise on all bands. You know, the beauty is we have to listen. And you know, when I see some old timer on a forum somewhere saying, oh well, you know, there's going to be this geomagnetic storm, so I'm shutting down my ham radio gear or shortwave receiver and gonna go watch a movie because nothing's going to be on. It's clearly a misunderstanding of what solar activity and geomagnetic storming can do to the shortwave bands. There's often change in propagation when that happens, and sometimes a signal from some part of the world that you never hear or always hear very, very faintly suddenly becomes alive during those events, and it's really strong. It's like, wow, this is great. While others that you will listen to every day will suddenly disappear and be gone. You know, it's just amazing. You gotta listen all the time, whatever happens. You gotta listen all the time. It's something that you gotta do. It's crazy. Lots of activity on the 20-meter band, says Jerry. Let's check that out. Let's see what we can hear on the 20-meter band.
Here's what I found with nobody within 3 of this frequency, you know, so this is how far down I had to go to find a clear spot. Again? Again, please.
I think that's the same guy.
I got uniform 9 Delta Echo again. Okay, I need to your call. Lima United 9 Delta Echo, is it okay? November United 9 Delta Echo, check your modulation because it's very distorted. Okay? Did you contest? Did you want to contest? Kilo 4, Golf Radio, got a contest.
What is it called? I can't get his call. I always miss the first letter. Oh, India Kilo 4. Italian station. India Kilo 4. 14292 upper sideband. Strong Italian station. Spanish fisherman on 6920 upper sideband. Rich in Atlanta, Georgia is listening to. Yeah, there is a ARI contest today. Hey, Nick Amendot from Romania. Nice to have you on board. Jerry says 14291 from California. Kind of interesting to... I like to... You know, contests you hate or you like. I like contests for one thing. You can DX 50 countries in an hour and a half just by going around the different frequency ranges. What other stations are there here? Let's check it out. So, and you are?
do. What is my number? 001. Thanks. India Kilo 4. Zulu, Germany, Ontario. Contact.
14 to 5. It is strong. Italian station also. And it's 9 in Italy, so you can see that 20 meters is open a lot. It's open a lot. Mick H, nice to have you on board, and yes, it's better late than never. Absolutely, absolutely. Vianney says, I have one radio IC751 on wire and another radio IC7100 on vertical antenna, and believe me, the IC7100 gives me much pleasure to listen because of the filter of the radios. Oh, absolutely. Take care, Bobby Burgess, and always nice to have you on board. Our next radio shows will be next Friday, 2000 hours Universal Time. Don't forget, guys, tomorrow, if you listen in to the live stream, I will be live on CKUT with Sheldon and David at the International Radio Report on CKUT 92.3 FM here in Montreal. You can listen in and stream on ckut.ca. You can also go to the page and look at the archive starting Monday. I will be part of the show tomorrow. It's going to be kind of nice. And you can listen in to while I'm there. I don't exactly know how the contesting numbers work, honestly. I would guess it's just running numbers, but I don't know. It depends on, I guess it depends on the contest and everything. But I guess you just move up from like 001 and so on, as you know, depending on all the contacts that you will be making. But I don't know. I have no idea. And I think different contests sometimes have different rules of with these numbers, honestly. So, you know, you have to listen in. It's www.ckut.ca. There you have a button to stream the feed live from CKUT. It is a 30-minute show, the International Radio Report, on a local FM station here in Montreal. So I'll be part tomorrow, and will be it's live stream 14:30 UTC Sunday mornings. Every Sundays, anyways, it's there. I participate to the show every second Sunday, so every 2 weeks I show up and have a little bit here on CKUT. I am on 14258 upper sideband right now with that Italian station. Oh, really? One is WX says you have contests where you exchange your agent's number. Oh, interesting. Mars, military auxiliary radio system. I hear them often on 4027 all night over here. Let's check it out here. I don't know if I'll hear anything. It's still a little early, but sometimes on the evening I hear 4027 upper sideband quite a lot. So it's kind of interesting here. What else do we have? Let's go up from 5,000 kilohertz and see what's on the bands. So radio teletype here, that one's there all the time. We see here the Kodar, the little chirp of Kodar. That's Kodar is a type of radar that measures ocean wave height, and there's many stations scattered across the eastern seaboard of the United States that send these little chirps to check out the height of the ocean waves. So what else do we have? 5,000. Radio Rebelde, not very strong, but it's there. 5025 from Cuba. With some Cuban music right now. Radio Havana, Cuba, very weak. 5040. What else do we have? Five, 1, 2, 1 or something. So Stanag 5216. Any other things that are interesting here? So we've got Radio Teletype 5338. The hams on the 60-meter band 5346. Upper sideband. You're talking about the S meter? If you're talking about that S meter, yeah, it depends on because in very weak signals, the signals. Oh, look at that, a ionospheric sounder crossing the bands. Look at that. We're going to follow it. Let's move up. Let's move up. It's there. It's there. It's going. Let's move again. Do we see it here? Yep, it's there. Look at that. It's going along. You see these little dots going along. Let's move it. Let's see how high we can get it. I sometimes like to do that. I hear it's gone. Oh, it's there. I see it. It's faint, but it's there. Ionospheric sounders are these. You know what? Sometimes you're listening to a broadcast. It's there. Look at that. It's there. Even 8 megahertz. It's moving up. So the ionospheric sounders, when you're listening to a broadcast and suddenly you hear like a chirp go through for like, you know, a tenth of a second, it's an ionospheric sounder. It's basically they're transmitting and the sweep is moving on, and they listen in to see what frequencies will be the best to broadcast a signal. So that tweep little signal that you hear, in reality, it's moving up the bands and it's checking out all the propagation of all the different frequencies, so that it can choose for some of the types of you know, signals, what frequency we should use to actually transmit. Yeah, the swing for the modulation Illinois stand is because that's a signal indicator. So it depends on the strength of the signals I'm listening to. If you were looking at the Italian ham earlier, it was moving quite high because he had a strong signal. But it depends, really depends on the signal. So when you get signals that are really close to the noise, it doesn't move much. And my cat is just meowing. Yeah, I know you're hungry, baby. I know. Sometimes you gotta wait. And there's something here. Oh, look at that. Yeah, man. You guys hear my cat? What is that? 5616.
Flight level 330. 51 north, 30 west, 2329er. Next, 51 north, 20 west. Is this all correct?
5616, which is, I think, is Gander.
To contact Shortwave Radio, primary 5649er, secondary 2872. Maintain cell call watch this frequency until 30 west. Go ahead.
Barely hear the plane. It's still too early here for the buzzer PA1WX. Sun is setting here in more than an hour now, like an hour and 20 minutes. So we're still a little early for the buzzer here. So with that signal, you should see that there's a lot more swing in my indicator, by the way, the Southern Illinois stand.
Romeo. Juliet Lima Alpha Romeo, I'll send a double. Gander, thanks, you go.
Gander Aeronautical Communications. Or Canada 872.
Romeo, go Papa.
Sorry, guys.
Canada.
Delta 82, Denver loud and clear. Delta Lima, Papa Romeo.
Lots of communications on the aeronautical frequencies. And sometimes I just, you know, get myself on one of those aeronautical frequencies and just, you know. Yeah, that's also the same. That's also one thing about that. My noise level here is very high, so the meter is already halfway up the scale just of the noise around me. So that's also a problem. Lots of QSLs on 71, 79.75. Have you tried to stations tonight? Time stations, you mean, probably, Richard. Yeah, we're gonna check it out. I'm gonna just check the QSO 71, 75, 71, 79.75. Lower sideband. Something there. There's a lot of signals on the. Whiskey 1 Alpha Foxtrot. I like the moaning of Brother Stare. It's good. It's a good background track for Halloween. Just will leave you guys with that station for a second. I will see what Mr. Cat wants because he's meowing and coming around. He either wants food or he wants to go out. It will take 2 seconds, guys, and I'm back.
Thank you for Maryland. This is Whiskey 1 Alpha Foxtrot. Alpha Delta Quebec. Alpha Delta Quebec again? Kilo 4 Alpha Delta Quebec. Kilo 4 Alpha Delta Quebec. Copy 59. Mike India Delta, Mike Alpha. Please copy 59. Victor Tango, Vermont. Whiskey November Hotel, Wyndham County. Whiskey Hotel, what's it again, please? Your copy?
And Mr. Paul the Cat wanted to go outside. Yes, Cosmic Lettuce, the human servant must tend to the cat. We all know the cats are controlling the world. We have nothing to do with it. We do what cats want, not what we want. PA1WX says I also have cat for 13 years now. Yeah, I've had Paul. Paul will be in June is going to be 3 years since Paul is since we I have Paul the cat. And so I don't know exactly what age he is, but I would think that he's around 6 or 7 years old, maybe, honestly. But it'll be 3 years in June already that Paul the Cat comes over. Pretty amazing. I never thought when I saw Paul the Cat the first time that I would actually have a cat. You know, that cat was my neighbor's cat, and he started coming over here, and he decided that, you know, okay, this is the place I want to be. He would run away from her house, from the neighbor's house, just to come here. So it's like, okay. So when she moved, she said, you know what, I think my cat loves you so much more than he does me. So he said, look, it's yours if you want it. I think it's going to be happy with you, and much happier with you. It's like, okay. Oh man. So you had 30 years of cats, basically. So you're watching the Shortwave show. We're at 3 hours now in our show. Anything else? So let's try the time stations just for curiosity. So let's try very high up, WWV 25 megahertz. So nothing there. Let's try 20 megahertz. Nothing there. Let's try 15. Yeah, I hear it, and it's not very strong, but it's there. WWV. I hear the WWV is there. Let's try 14996, which is RWM Moscow. Nothing there. Let's try 9996 RWM. I haven't heard RWM Moscow time signal in a long time now. Don't hear anything. Very weak. Something on 10 megahertz. I'm not even sure it's... I'm not even sure it's WWV. Weird. And 5 megahertz should not be coming in, probably. 4996 not making it also on the frequencies. So not a lot in the time station side. Let's try CHU Canada 3330. Not very strong, but it's there. 3330. 7850. Something weak. 14670. Nothing here. So really not a lot in terms of time signal stations, honestly. Hey Jay Waterston 69, nice to have you here. SSTV on 14230. So we'll try to see if we can hear anything. I'll fire up, I'll close this, fire up SSTV. Look at that history. Look at all the codes I had from the International Space Station. That was nice. The best one was this one. This one is so clear. That was so nice from the International Space Station. So we'll put it in a receive mode here and see if by any chance we can decode some SSTV, slow scan TV. I'm using a yeah, kind of a long wire antenna, 22 meters long, but it's a sloper. It's an angle with a 9-to-1 balun at the end. So 22 meter long, and it's east-west direction. David says, today I've heard the music intervals on the Italy cable time signals for the first time this year. I was almost beginning to worry. Wow. Yeah, 10,000 could be Brazil. Could be a lot of station. Wade Spencer says, I also have a yellow cat. His name is Jack. Yellow cats seem to make naturally good DXer companions. I have a gray cat too, but he is always spooked by the radio sounds. Yeah, that cat, you know what? I was told, and I don't know if it's true, but I was told that these yellow cats are the cats that are the most, that make the best cats, because they're always Very, very, always very, very affectionate and nice. And that cat is amazing. Every time I get, a party here, or I have, Christmas parties or stuff, I always get, somebody saying, man, we're like 30 people in your house, and that cat just wants to come and see us all. He's not scared. He never hides. I have people come over for something, for dinner, and he doesn't hide. He wants to go see them, say hi. Hey, look at me, I'm here. It's just so funny. And I don't know if it's really every yellow cat that is like that, but I've heard a lot of people say, yeah, these are the best cats. Oh, very weak slow scan here. I just heard the start of a slow scan picture. Very weak. I've actually been able to decode it. It's Cotty 1. Apparently. Barely. It's just a noisy picture. But there's definitely slow scan TV right now. Picture being... we could kind of see forms in it and things, but it's just so weak that it doesn't decode. It's too weak to decode, actually. Crazy. Richard Cook's got a RWM Moscow time signal on 4996. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Usually in the summertime, I will get 14996 in the afternoons, and late afternoon I can maybe get 9996 for the Moscow time signal. But it's been a while. I miss it. It's been a while. I kind of like to listen to the little time pips from RWM. And it's kind of cool, you're listening to it and you're like, wow, I'm listening to a 4 kilowatt station from Moscow. Kind of cool. So Vienna Sono also can't decode this one too weak. We can see a picture inside. It almost looks like a tunnel of some sort. I don't know. And here I can't make out. Probably a call sign at the bottom, but I can't make it out. We barely see something. There's something in there, but it's too weak to really make out. It's still interesting, though, that the software was able to still decode it somewhat and even detect what was the mode automatically for that picture. What is that? I don't know. I don't know what that is, but some ghostly picture from the past of shortwave. Just, nope. Another picture coming through, but very weak once again. This time it's not even decoding the mode. There's something very weak once again on 14230. Trying to go through. An alien picture. I just got maybe a picture from another planet. Who knows? You know what? That's what I would. The first quick look, L'Arche de Triomphe. That's what I was also thinking that it could be. I also thought about that just by the way that it was, but I don't know. And it's so noisy, it could be something totally different, and we just don't know. Danny Shortwave says CHU 7850 S9, good signal. Richard says Voice of Korea has time shifted. Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday, by the way. Yes, so the all the programming shifted also, meaning that instead of starting at the half hour for different languages, now it starts at the hour. Yeah, Mick, it could be a cheese sandwich, and it's We just don't know. You know, it would be interesting to have a game show. What do you think? What do you think this is? And then show the real thing, and you're like, really? That was the picture? You know what, Jerry? Yeah, looking with these 3D glasses, that could be surprising. Maybe you can make out. Maybe we're getting a 3D picture. Oh no! You know what? Maybe the picture is clear. It's because it's, you know, one of those frames that when you look at it, all you see is different grains of colors. And then when you're out of focus somehow, it's like, oh yeah, I can see the picture now. Maybe that's the kind of picture you were sending out. So yeah, the Korean time zones are now unified. It's just funny. It's like, you know, okay, so we changed our time zone because we want to piss you off, you know. It's like, man, come on. Oh. Oh. Another one coming through. Will this one be better? That looks like a forest with trees. We can distinctly see there's a little shack there or something. You know what? This is one of the pictures where, you know, you have to look like far away in order to see something. And for TDC, some kind of, it's almost like F5, but I don't know. This is a forest. This is a little shack. That's pretty much what it looks like. So, kind of looks like it. It's kind of nice to have these little picture decos here. Would be nice to have a stronger signal and really have something that is a nice, clear, beautiful picture. So you know. Cosmic LED is stronger signal this time. Richard Cook's receiving WRMI now on World of Radio, and this is going to be off. VNF signal not strong here. QSB variations a lot. Yeah, I know. Little forest camp, Browns. Nice place to do radio. Absolutely. It's the Blair Witch house. Blair Witch product. The amateur radio. Oh, that would be even worse. Patrick Manny has the perfect one. Hey, Patrick. Evil Dead Cabin. The Evil Dead Cabin. Oh, God. That would be nuts. The Evil Dead Cabin. 874-822 says, I've been shopping for an entry-level shortwave radio that runs on 18650s or more regular cells. If anyone has a good idea, let me know. Just get yourself a, you know, Texan PL 880 uses 18650, says Charles Williams. Hello there. although it's not entry level. Can't go wrong with it though. Vianney says, haha, Evil Dead cabin, that's right. Man, imagine you're a ham and you're stuck in the Evil Dead cabin. You're screwed. You know, you're screwed. Richard Cook says, solar storm happening at the moment, K-index at 5. Oh really? It's moved up to 5 already? Crazy. Hey everybody, we've been on for 3 hours and 12 minutes. Hope you enjoyed the show. I will be K5 is a minor storm, but it's enough to actually interfere with signals and change the propagation characteristics, absolutely. But it's a minor storm, and they were expecting, with the solar wind coming, they were expecting like minor storms from time to time, starting around May 6th. So it's maybe a little earlier than thought, but K5, the K index goes from 0 to 9. Usually K5 is a minor storm, K7 is a much bigger storm. If you get K8 or 9, these are major storms that are disrupting everything. And if you see a K index of 9, you better go out and look at the skies, because major aurora borealis coming on for sure. Yep, a coronal hole that's crossing the center of the sun right now, Cosmic Lettuce, absolutely. And we'll be in the effect of that solar wind, the faster gusts of solar wind for the next few days. So we will be off and on, you know, from unsettled conditions to minor storm conditions. Hey, another SSTV pick is coming out. Is it decoding this time? And as we are decoding this, I just want to say, thanks everybody for watching the show today. Hope you enjoyed. We will be back on Friday, 2000 hours UTC. Hope you enjoyed the shows that we have for you. Don't forget the donations if you can. And if we look at the next decode of a slow scan TV picture, and if I can remember, I'll try to be there, Cosmic Lettuce, at 0200 hours tonight. And if you guys have nothing to do at 0200, why not join Cosmic Lettuce in his astronomy live shows? They're always interesting, and there's a lot of information. No, Terry Cook, the VHF show was not happening last week because there was a upgrade of the cables here in the vicinity, and the internet shut down around an hour before I started the show, and I couldn't do it, unfortunately. But we'll try to make it next time. Thank you, Vianney Arsenault, and always nice to be here also. Hope you enjoyed. Hey, bienvenue en Louisiane. It's in French. With the oh, I'm trying to see what's. Let me just open this up a little more. Welcome to Louisiana. Huh, interesting. I think I'm going to stay here and park on that frequency for a while I figure out what I'm going to actually eat for supper today. So thanks everybody for being here. Hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget, this is where you give donations if you enjoy what I do. It's always nice to have all of you here. If you enjoy what I do, please give a little something. And thanks everybody. Wow, that's not a bad finish for a show. A French message on the picture. Yeah, absolutely, Vianney. I was thinking the same. I was like, hey, in French, look at that. Avec a fleur de lys. And thank you, Cosmic Lettuce. And a fleur de lys. Well, you know, I think you have the same passion, Cosmic Lettuce. When I see you do your astronomy show, I see the passion you have for astronomy and trying to bring it out to everybody. I think this is pretty much what I do here, is do a show to share the passion of radio with everyone. It's kind of cool, you know. So thanks everybody. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you have a lot of fun when we do this. Next show will be Friday, 2000 hours UTC. Don't forget, if you listen into the CKUT .ca stream tomorrow, 14:30 UTC, I am with Sheldon and David on the International Radio Report at CKUT 90.3. So if you want to listen to the stream, you can listen to the recorded show also. It's archived on CKUT.ca. Thanks everybody for being here. Thanks for you guys for being fans, because honestly, without you being fans, I would not have a radio show. I would not be, and I'd be talking to myself. Would be kind of boring. So thanks everybody. Thank you very much, and love you all. Stay safe, please, and see you soon. Bye bye everyone. Stay safe, please. Take care.